Honestly, I can't believe it has been exactly 1 whole year on Etsy, and I'm so excited to make this video because I feel like I've been waiting to make this video for a really long time because it's super interesting what happened over the past year, and I'm also going to share some tips that I have if you are also trying to start an Etsy shop selling digital products. For this past year, I've been tracking everything, and every single month I made a monthly update video. I'll quickly go over what happened in October because technically it's the 12th month on Etsy, but I want this video to be about the entire year on Etsy. So last month, October, was actually really good. I had 30 orders and my conversion rate really improved. So it went from 2.5% to 3.5%. I didn't do any ads at all, and I think definitely the 3.5% conversion rate is because I have been redoing all my listing photos to make them better, and also because Etsy changed the dimensions thing to a square crop. So I've been changing that, but then also just like revamping all the listing photos. I'm actually still not done, but the majority of the listing photos are done. October was quite good, and I also think maybe like October, like people are getting back into things and spending more money, so maybe that's another reason why. Net profit was 290 Canadian dollars. The money I received in the bank was $334, and I paid $60 USD. Oh yeah, I have not posted a listing for 3 months, and that's because I was mainly focusing on redoing all the listing photos, but I do have things in the pipeline, new things that I'm gonna post. So for looking at the 1 year results, total number of listings, 64. You know, I thought I could get to at least 100, but honestly, you know, sometimes life happens or suddenly you realize you need to change all your listing photos. So I have 64 listings. Visits was 10,000 visits. My average conversion rate was 2.9, but also when I was experimenting with ads earlier this year, it really made my conversion rate drop. Like my lowest was 1.8%. So yeah, with the ad strategy that I use, like honestly, I'm not really sure about ads still. Like I haven't really found a good strategy, or I don't know, maybe it's like my niche. Oh yeah, by the way, my niche is Canva templates for a specific kind of business owner. The total items I sold were 307. That's pretty cool. My revenue was 4,700. I spent 400 something on ads. I made about 600 something. My ad conversion rate was 3.43. This, I just took the sum of all the conversion rates and I divided by the number of months that I did ads, which was 9 months. And then my net profit according to Etsy, so basically I just added up all these numbers. It was 3,434. The actual money I received in the bank was 3,400 something. So just pretty similar. And then I spent almost $500 on outsourcing. My actual profit, so what is the actual profit? So what I did was I took the actual money I received in the bank minus the money I spent on outsourcing. So my actual profit was almost $3,000, which I don't know, like 1 year of working on Etsy, I made $3,000. I mean, I think that's a good side hustle. It's like good side hustle money, but obviously not full-time income. I think at the beginning, I thought I could make more, but also like there was a period of time when I was traveling in Asia where I just didn't have time to make new listings. And so over this whole year, I made about $3,000 with Etsy, which, you know, I think is not bad. Like, and it doesn't mean I failed with my Etsy shop. I think it was, you know, actually quite successful. I have basically a 5-star rating on my Etsy shop. My profit margin, so I calculated this by taking the actual profit divided by the total revenues, and my profit margin is 63%. Considering everything, I think that's okay because I'm selling digital products, which means people buy it and then they just literally download it. I don't have to ship anything. If you just take into consideration Etsy fees, I think the profit margin would be about 85%, but because I spent some money on ads and then I also spent $500 on outsourcing, so that made my actual profit margin go down. But like honestly, like the outsourcing, it was so worth it because my biggest struggle is like I didn't have time. So having my Canva assistant help me with designing and also redoing listing photos, that has saved me a lot of time. And I really love having her because she brings fresh ideas, like fresh new designs that I wouldn't have come up with by myself. If you're wondering, like, Dina, are you trying to make a full-time income on Etsy or not? I have always said no. Like when I started Etsy 1 year ago, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna try it out. If I make money, that's great. But YouTube has always been my passion. Like, I love sharing my experiences and my journey with everybody and everything that I've learned. So my full-time business is content creation. If you're wondering if I'm going to continue with Etsy, I'm going to answer that at the end of the video. But first I want to share some key learnings about starting an Etsy shop. Okay, the first one is it's best if you start a shop in a niche that you already have experience in. I know I always talk about having a good niche all the time, but honestly, I think the niche is probably the most important thing because it's going to determine a lot of other things like how much competition, how much time you're spending researching on things. When you have a good niche, and especially if you have already some experience in that niche, like maybe you've worked in that niche in your 9-to-5 job, or you're just really interested in that niche and you like read stuff on that niche anyways, you don't need to do as much research compared to if you didn't know anything about the niche. Another thing is if you are the actual customer of the products that you are creating, it is way easier to come up with the product designs because you're literally the one using it. And the other thing is if you already know the niche, you know that there are some products that, you know, the general public doesn't even know about, but you know that these products are needed in the niche. For example, I was just brainstorming Etsy ideas with one of my friends. He does photography and stuff, and I didn't even know that, what are they called?
Posing, like digital cards, which is kind of cool.
Posing digital cards?
Yeah, so like some people will look up, you know, posing, photographers will look like posing templates, like some prompts they could use for their couples.
I'm not a photographer, so I didn't even know that was a thing, but he's a photographer, so he knows that that is a thing that photographers actually use with their clients. And so that's something that he could totally make and he could totally sell. It's also something that he could potentially use himself. If you want to know how competitive your niche is, there are a couple of market research tools that you can use. And this year, one of my favorites that I've been using is Everbee, and they also have a Google Chrome extension, which makes it so easy to see estimated sales data from different kinds of listings, different kinds of shops. And I've used it to come up with a lot of different kinds of products in my own shop. And actually a couple of weeks ago, Everbee just came out with a new feature, which I think is super cool. So basically it's called Everbee Email, and it lets you send emails to your customers after you've customized some settings and adjusted some things. You might be thinking, okay, is this even allowed? Like, how can I just automatically send an email to my customers? There are 4 kinds of transactional emails that Etsy allows you to send. Once the customer gets the email from Everbee, and yes, the customer does get 2 emails. They get one from Etsy with the order confirmation, and then they get another order confirmation from Everbee. So they get 2 emails. In the Everbee email, there's a button where they can opt in to your email list, and then you can send promotional emails to them, like discounts or special offers. And so basically what this is allowing you to do is to start an email list really easily. This email service is included in Everbee's growth plan, which is $29.99 per month. And right now, if you are interested in this, I do have a limited offer where it's buy 1 month, get 1 month free. So you basically get 2 months for 50% off. So I've added the link to this special offer in the video description, so check it out. And big thanks to Everbee for sponsoring this video. This next tip that I have for you, it might sound simple, but hear me out, okay? You actually need a really good product. I know I talk about all the time how you need good marketing, but in the end, your product has to be unique or different compared to your competitors. Oh yeah, and by the way, try not to beat your competition on price, really beat them on quality. Generally for price, what I do for my own is I price it around the same or slightly higher, but I always try to make my product better. And here's a pro tip: if you want to add more value to your products, you can add a bonus thing like a demo video or an ebook or some kind of another downloadable or resource that your customers are going to find useful, and these bonuses would complement the product that they're getting. For you to make a really great product, it actually might take some time. So I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, why am I taking 20 hours to make this product when all the other people on YouTube are like posting one thing per day? It's going to take time, especially if this is the first time you're designing something, I would rather you spend more time, make a really, really good product than make like 10 crappy products. Oh, and if you aren't aware, I do have several resources that can help you at the beginning of your Etsy journey. So I have this Start Your Etsy checklist. I also have this Google spreadsheet. You can also use it to track your stats. And I have a free listing photos template that you can use. The next thing you need to know about starting an Etsy shop is, so you have a great product, okay, that's great. Now you need great marketing and you need great SEO, especially if you're trying to get customers from Etsy itself and you're not trying to do outside marketing. So I didn't do any outside marketing on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Literally all my sales came from people searching on Etsy in the search bar. Because here's the thing, if you have a great product but you don't have great marketing, the best product is not gonna sell. I do have several videos on how I make my listing photos, how I make my listing videos, so you can check those out. But I also wanted to let you know that I have a pre-sale going on for my Etsy listing photos course, and all the details are on this website. You can check it out. I'll put the link below, and the pre-orders end on November 30th. If you're wondering whether or not you should do outside social media marketing, yeah, if you have time, if you have the energy to do it, obviously that's gonna help. Like, it's not the best thing to just rely on the Etsy search algorithm for you to get customers, because what if Etsy changes the algorithm? You have no control over that. But if you start your own Instagram, TikTok, if you have an email list, which by the way, you can use Everbee email for that, then you have a lot more control over the sales you get and the marketing that you do. But obviously it does take more time because you need to make these new things, right? Social media content, stuff like that. And also if you're trying to make a full-time income on Etsy, it is really helpful to do things outside of Etsy, like your own marketing. A lot of Etsy shop owners also have their own website, like a Shopify website, or just any kind of e-commerce website where you are selling the same thing, because then you don't get deducted all the Etsy fees. And if you're doing your own social media marketing, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, when you drive traffic to that e-commerce site, you're not getting deducted the Etsy fees. You are in way more control over the sales that you're getting. The next really important thing that I learned from this whole year on Etsy is keep going, don't give up. You are on your own journey, and do not compare your results to other people's results. Especially don't compare to other YouTubers, because I feel like if people are getting good results on Etsy, it's more likely they're going to share it on YouTube, right? And there are tons of people. If you look at the comment section of my videos, you'll see a lot of people just not getting sales or getting 1 or 2 sales. So the people who are not getting sales aren't talking about it publicly. So don't compare the results that you're getting to the other YouTubers. For me, even I find that hard because I'm making a lot of these Etsy videos and I literally only made $3,000 this year from Etsy. And sometimes I'm thinking like, who am I to talk about Etsy on YouTube when I only made $3,000? But hey, just because I made $3,000 this year, that doesn't mean I can't make $30,000 from my Etsy shop next year. 1 year is actually not a lot of time in business. So for me, yeah, I want to keep going. I want to keep seeing what I can improve. And for me, it's a journey. And this whole Etsy thing has been kind of an experiment. For me, it's fun to try out new things, see if it works, see if it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, I'll decide, do I want to continue or do I just pivot? Another reason why you shouldn't compare your results to other people's results is you might be starting from a different place. So for example, someone might have more graphic design experience than you. You might not have that much graphic design. How can you compare yourself? Or for me, for example, I already knew a lot about SEO from doing YouTube. I had a blog. I know the general concept of SEO. So when it came to doing my Etsy SEO, I know SEO already. I'm just going to use the skills that I learned before and apply it to my Etsy shop. But for you, you might not have any experience with SEO. Only compare yourself to yourself 1 month ago or 1 year ago. To answer the question, do I think I'm going to continue with my Etsy shop? I would say, yeah, I do want to continue. You know, I haven't been putting as much energy as I would have wanted to into my Etsy shop. But what if I did put more energy into it, right? Like, could I 10x the results? I probably won't do a monthly update video every single month from now on, but occasionally, like I'll make an update maybe in 3 months, maybe in 6 months. Right now, if you're still deciding whether or not you want to start an Etsy shop, I would say it really depends. Don't just do it because everybody else is doing it and it's a really hot thing that people are trying out. I have some warnings about Etsy that I talk a lot more in depth in this video, so make sure you watch this video. It might just change your life.